What I'm about to say does not apply to every black man. So if you're not a part of this group, simply remove yourself. Don't get into my comments trying to go back and forth with me. But black men, a lot of you guys don't have your degree because you have weaponized incompetence to the point where it is your default setting.
What is good, you all, and welcome on another episode. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing fine. And if you are joining for the very first time, thank you so much for being here today. There is an article that was published on New York Times, I think, and this article has been going viral on TikTok. It has been causing a lot of conversation and a lot of crash outs because the men are crashing out because they are the one being targeted and talked about in this article. So I think the article is about black men not being in school, how they are not chasing the degree the way black women are, black men not being in college. So men are having the conversation on why they are not in college, why they are not chasing those degrees the way black women are. And this conversation is not even extending to so many angles. Like, some people are saying they are seeing so many white supremacist points in the points that some people are making as well. And I feel like it's actually a very good conversation, looking at the way it triggered some people, maybe due to trauma. Just kind of remember the reason why they decided not to further their education, why they decided not to pick school or pick something else over school. So there are so many men on TikTok right now crashing out over the conversation of black men not being in college and not chasing the degree the way black women are. There was a man even saying, yes, you all put our men in prison, you all do this and that. And the women are coming from the point where saying we all have the same dads as well. So you guys are looking for excuses instead of actually taking accountability. You all are looking for excuses. The same people you all are calling dad, the same dad you all said are in jail, their own father as well in jail. So why are they in school and why are you guys not in school?
We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch, because our daddies was in prison, because y'all kept putting shit in the street to make sure they went to prison so that we could not afford lunch, so that we therefore could not afford college. So if you would please shut the fuck up worried about why we didn't go to college. Thank you.
This is why I always say that if a man is on a social media outlet or in person saying we don't care about y'all's degrees, when they say that to women, that lets me know they don't want to have a degree because they feel like they are too incompetent or too inferior to go to school and apply themselves for a couple of months, years to get a degree. Like, honestly, these sound like excuses. This entire discourse for the past week I've been hearing about this topic, it's been nothing but excuses from the men who don't want to educate themselves. I don't know if it's because I was raised by not just Gen Xers, but also military Gen Xers. Excuses did not fly in that house. Either you want to do it or you don't. And there's no in between. What the hell does you not being able to pay for lunch as a child have to do with your decision to go to college? I mean, like, there's so many stories. Let me think off the top of my head. I don't know if y'all know who King Kieran is, okay? King Kieran has been very, very open about how he used to be in and out of prison, and now he's a successful content creator, family man, all that type of stuff. So if you just apply yourself, you can do it. Like, it just, that is literally why y'all project onto us as women that y'all don't care about our degrees. The reason you don't care is because you're not educated yourself and you don't want to be further educated. You'd rather sit there and stay ignorant and want to bring somebody else down and stay in the ignorance with you. Y'all are weird. Y'all are very...
Most of y'all talking about the black man not going to college situation aren't even genuine. But y'all know anytime y'all down a black man, it's going to go viral. So that's why y'all do it. But let's talk about it. You should always seek out education, always, not just in college. In your everyday life, you should be reading a book, trying to learn something new. And there are a shortage of people not going to college, point blank, period. But you don't have to go to college to be successful. However, having that degree helps. It's the same thing with the military. You can go into the military as 11 Bravo infantry. When you get out, just the fact that you are in the military opens up so many opportunities. When I first got out of the military, I didn't qualify for any of the jobs that I've gotten. But since that was on my resume, it made me look good. Hence why I got the job. It's the same thing for college degrees. You can go in and get a degree in something and then literally when you graduate, never even do what you got that degree in. It's really important to have these on your resume. Whether that's a degree, certification, you went to trade school, military, you got a CDL. You do not need college to be successful at all whatsoever. But you should be pursuing some sort of education, something on paper that you can show people. But right now, the job market is so horrible. Even if you got a degree, you probably ain't gonna get no job. But you're not just getting education for a job as well. An educated man is a dangerous man. And to the people who are making these videos and are just bashing the brothers, you're not being sincere and you're doing it for the clicks. Do better.
We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison.
Bro, my mom was a crackhead that abandoned me at 1 year old. My father pretended to give a fuck, moved me away from all my family to the suburbs, and then pretty much abandoned me. I was bouncing from place to place for most of my childhood. I used to get out of elementary school and middle school and go to the public library and sit all night, all day, until about 9 o'clock at night because I wasn't welcome in the home that I lived in. Then I moved out of my house at 13 years old, where I lived with my dad and his wife who didn't want me in their house. I moved into my best friend's house when I was 13. At 15, I moved to Florida, with my grandmother, who then got arrested for physically abusing me. Like, was hitting me in the face with an extension cord, and police were called, and she got arrested because my whole face was swollen. Then I came back to my dad's house, but I was such a problem child before I left. Problem child, meaning like I was talking back to teachers, acting out, doing class clown shit because I was having a difficult time, that I got expelled from school and sent to an alternative school called Second Chance Academy, where we were coloring like in sophomore year of high school. I left there, found my mom who was living with some man, and I chose or asked her if I could stay with her, and she said yeah, but then tried to get me to sleep with some drug dealer for money. So I left there, begged my sister's father, who I was not, and at 16 years old started stripping with a fake ID to make it through high school. I joined the Navy at 16 in the delayed entry program, but because I was still technically a child, I had to find both my parents to sign. And at that time, my mother was back on the streets doing hardcore crack. So I had to walk the streets just to find her to sign the document to send me to the Navy, because both my parents had to sign. My dad was a little easier to get in contact with for him to sign, but my mama had to walk the streets of Newark, New Jersey to find her where she was doing drugs at and get her to come sign. Then at 7, so I stripped till I was 17 to finally leave for boot camp. And today I have a master's degree and own multiple properties. So go ahead and tell me the reason why y'all not going to college again?
We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison because y'all kept putting shit in the street to make sure they went to prison so that we could not afford lunch.
Bro, when I seen this, I was just like, that's an excuse. That's an excuse. I'm sorry, brother. That's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. Yes, there's plenty of data out there that says that children struggle with learning when they're hungry. Yes, we know about systemic racism and oppression in our communities, them flooding our communities with drugs and then taking the black man out of the home. We know this, but guess what? Mama was working hard and there was free lunch. There was reduced lunch. You could have had that. You know what I mean? Yes, we know. Life was so hard, but guess what? Guess what? It would be easy to say that if you wasn't sitting within a demographic where the women are the most educated in this country, and you think they only coming from middle-class homes where daddy's home and they can get breakfast? It's an excuse, bruh. It's a fucking excuse, and it's so whack. It's so whack. Because black men always want to use everything around them as an excuse. Does it make it hard for you to get into school, to be faced with adversity as a child? Yes, it does. It absolutely does make it harder. But it doesn't make it impossible. I mean, clearly black women is showing us that. Right? No, y'all too busy in school chastising the next one because he getting good grades, making fun of people because they actually smart. You talked them out of their future. You too busy dumbing yourself down, not wanting to sound like the smart person in class. You trying to hang with the cool kids. Now your grades suffering. And somehow, some way, you see your cousins, your uncles, all who was sitting on the corner, sitting outside the liquor store, or was running the streets and ended up in jail. You see all of that and you said, you know what? I want that for me. What the hell is wrong with you? A lot of y'all make excuses. And I'm gonna give you a bone to discount everything I say, right? I date men. And guess who else is highly educated in this country? Gay men. Guess who else is highly educated within the black community? Gay black men. Because we, like women, realize the importance of fucking education. And if you want to live a good life, you might need to go get some type of education, whether it's a degree or, a vocation. But a degree gonna get you more money up front. And then y'all complain about the debt, but it's like, well, what the fuck is a $300 payment when you bring home $3,000 after taxes on your paycheck? After taxes. One check, when you'll probably see 2 to 3 in 1 month. Come on now, y'all be making excuses. Other people said y'all go to school, y'all go to college the first year because y'all trying to go with the girls. Are you trying to get the girls? Not thinking about your future. What sense does that make, bro? Like, I grew up in a fairly urban setting. Raised over here in Northeast DC, family from North Carolina, just like so many other people in the DMV. My cousins was running with Rayful in them. One went to jail for 8 years for being an armed robber, and the other one was a fucking coke dealer. I saw that, and I definitely didn't say I want to do that too. No. I was like, let me go to college. I ain't built for jail. Who the fuck want to be sitting up in jail? Hell, I like men and I don't want to sit up in no jail with no niggas. The hell? Hell nah. Give me the loot. And I'm going to get it the legit way, because all these little scamming and all that other stuff, that shit don't pay off. Because all you're going to do is end up sitting up in jail. And you either going to rectify yourself or you're going to keep doing it and keep going back and forth to jail. And then eventually you're going to find Allah or Jesus. And all of a sudden you ain't had no choice but to sit down and read a book. All of a sudden you all about your education when somebody had to sit your ass down like a dog in a cell. Y'all got to stop making excuses. And you got to stop chastising your friends for being fucking smart and wanting to actually learn something and do something with their lives. That's the problem. That's the real problem. On top of all the systemic shit. But that breakfast bullshit, get out of here.
What I'm about to say does not apply to every black man. So if you're not a part of this group, simply remove yourself. Don't get into my comments trying to go back and forth with me. But black men, a lot of you guys don't have your degree because you have weaponized incompetence to the point where it is your default setting. You have prioritized laziness to the point where you will do absolutely whatever you can do to not do any work. If somebody could go in and earn that degree for you in your name, more black men would be degree holders to this day. Please spare me the whole sob story of, the reason why us black men don't have our degrees at the same rates as our black women is because we had to adopt or take on certain responsibility because there was no male figure in the home and our mother was a single mother and we had to figure out how we was gonna have money for lunch. Please, because a lot of us women had the same exact circumstances, okay? Word for word, bar for bar. Some of us women were worse off than you. A lot of us had to be a secondary parent to our younger siblings while still being in charge of ourselves and our education. Like, please spare me that. I'm going to note one more time. If you are not a part of this group, simply remove yourself. No need to take offense to something that does not apply to you, okay? Don't let that go over your head. A lot of black men, unfortunately, since they were young, were weaponizing incompetence. It started from just having to do everyday little tasks, doing chores in the household, okay? With each task that you were able to get out of or being able to postpone or basically shove off to the side to the point where somebody else would step in and do the job for you, it has conditioned you into the man that you are today, where you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to put in your all for nothing. And it's not just with education. It's in all aspects of life. This is why we say with each generation, the men get less and less like men because they don't want to put in the work anymore. Women from a young age, black women from a young age, are told that we need to be successful academically in order to be successful, period. In order to be successful, period, we have to be successful academically. Like, we have no choice. Meanwhile, men are told that they have other avenues, you understand, in which they can be successful, where education is not that much of a priority. And then because it does include hard work, and you guys have been raised being incompetent and weaponizing incompetence, you are not going to push yourself to go and achieve what it takes to achieve a higher degree. It has nothing to do with you having a hard life. There's women who had an even harder life than you. There's women who could probably get up on this app and talk about how they were raped by their uncle and their father, and they had a child and they didn't know which father or the uncle was the baby father of the child, and they were illiterate up until they were 12 years old, but they still went to church, and then they found this one person that believed in them, and the next thing you know, they're a fucking therapist. You have no fucking excuse. You have no excuse. You wanted to be in the trenches. Everything is a decision. You have free will. God gave us all free will. You guys choose to weaponize incompetence, and it came to the point now, it's your default setting. You can't get out of it even if you wanted to. That's what it is. You don't have any excuse other than, I just don't have the drive. That's what it is. Keep it a buck.
Entering black men's business. The reason you guys aren't going to college is because of your parents. While the daughters were cleaning the house, looking after everything, organizing themselves, organizing their calendars, doing well in school, your parents were not pushing black men. They were pushing you to sports and PlayStation or to become a rapper. When most black girlies were saying they wanted to be a doctor, engineer, have a trade, something, black men were saying they wanted to be footballers and rappers. That was the problem. You were mucking around in class and everybody just said it was boys being boys. That's the problem. Instead of facing your books, you were facing 2K and FIFA. That was the problem. Speaking as a person who went to a college where the black women probably were 70 to 75, if not 80% of the black population, whereas the men were 15 to 20%. Most of the men that were there were because of sports. It was because of sports. Not because you did well in school, not because your GPA was high. You were there to run track, play basketball. Simple. But at the end of the day, we also have to stop blaming your parents and take responsibility and accountability for yourselves. It is statistically proven that if you go to college, you are more likely to be a higher earner in your life. Having a degree means you probably will make more money. It's increasing the likelihood of making more money in your lifetime. However, because black men weren't conditioned to do anything difficult in their lives, / there's a lack of discipline within the black male community to study, read book, sit down for an hour and do something that you don't want to do to benefit your future self. It's all about fast money, fast money, fast money. And that's why they go and sell drugs. That's why they go and become scammers. Fast money this, fast money that. Even trade school. I'm so sorry, but how many plumbers do you know that are millionaires? How many? How many electricians do you know that are millionaires? Quickly! Start going to college. Go to college. Go to university. Go to school. Do something for once in your life that's not going to give you instant gratification. Station is also for straight black men, okay? The gays were going to college, period. Struggle a little bit so that you can be successful in the future, period.
I keep seeing TikToks about why black men are not going to college the same rate as black women. And something I want to add to the discussion is that I'm a literal twin. I have a twin brother, meaning that growing up, we had the same resources. We went to the same schools. We obviously grew up in the same household. We had the same parents. And when we had tutors, when I had a tutor, he had a tutor, you name it, right? We had some differences gendered wise. Like, for instance, I did Girl Scouts and my mom and dad were focused on him doing things like golfing and taekwondo and baseball. But outside of that, we're pretty similar. I think it's interesting hearing this online discussion and how hesitant or reluctant black men are to accept that there is a lot of socialization for black men to not succeed academically and a lot of pressure from their peers. Now, mind you, both my parents have advanced degrees, maybe not while growing up, but they currently do have advanced degrees. And while both me and my twin graduated high school and went on to college, only one of us graduated. And for my brother to even get to the point of graduating, it was an arm and a leg. Like, I remember from 4th through 8th grade, he was in summer school. And I remember telling him when we were in high school that if he does not graduate with me, it would be embarrassing to have all our family members come up to see me graduate and not him. And I focused on making sure that we both graduated and crossed the stage together. And there was a point where every test that he had, my mom would personally make flashcards for him and help him study and be his personal champion and tutor. I remember at one point we thought, or pretty early on, from 1st or 2nd grade, my parents went to go test him for a learning disability, and he found out he did have a learning disability, only for me to find out in college that I had the exact same learning disability. All that to say is there's a lot of conversation about, well, who's to blame in this conversation. And I'm not going to say there's anyone necessarily, to blame, but I don't think a lot of black men are understanding that regardless of it's your mom or your dad or your friends or your family or your community or whatever, it's socialization. There needs to be an intervention on how men think about education and their mentors and their peers.
I'm not gonna lie, man, that college topic is kind of irritating me. Y'all kind of pissing me off with that topic. So I'm gonna give y'all the reason why I dropped out of college, right? So everybody's not as fortunate as others to go to college, finish college, because in the 4 years that you are there, or the 6 years you are there, you need some type of safety net. Me personally, bro, I'm coming from a poor family. I went to college on scholarship. It wasn't a full ride, but it was like an 80-20 type of deal. So one year, my second year going into it, my father never filled out the FAFSA, so it was kind of on him at the same time. So it's that support responsibility coming from home. So when he didn't fill out the FAFSA and did his part on the FAFSA, I couldn't afford it because I'm a full-time college athlete. I don't have time to go work a job. There's no NIL deals. This is like 2020. So I'm not having the opportunity to continue to do this. I'm up there eating cup noodles, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can afford college, so I had to come home and come work. I couldn't even pay my $50 phone bill. You know what I'm saying? So imagine trying to finish that. Full-time athlete, no money in your pocket, no support from the crib. What am I supposed to do? And it's not like I'm an idiot. AP honor roll student in high school. You know what I'm saying? There's no, I can read, I'm on grade level, everything. So there's no problem with that. I had to come home and work, but I had to join the workforce so I can afford to live. There's no safety net when it comes to men because we're told to handle everything ourselves. I'm not about to sit here and get 30, 40 to 60 grand in student debt loan because I'm trying to get this degree. I'm not doing that. I'm going home. I can't afford it. I don't have support like others. Like, people are making it seem like going to college is like going to high school, going to your local public high school that you can go to for free. It's not like that. If college was free, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would go finish because it's fucking free. College isn't free. Nobody wants debt that they can't afford to have. And then you get on the internet and you're seeing people say this over and over, like, oh, hey, I have a degree, I have a master's degree, and I'm struggling to get a job. I graduated with my master's and I can't even get a job. I can't even get a job to pay me over 50 grand. So why would I finish it? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm not about to sit here and struggle for 4 years straight. We don't have time to waste as men, bro. I refuse to struggle for 4 years in a row. I refused. Everybody has an answer, but it's so simple on why we're not going to college or even being able to finish college, bro. It's because we're fucking poor. We're coming from poor families. If you're from the hood, your family is poor. You're not going to finish it. And then if you want to go finish it, you're like, I got to risk getting all this debt. Nobody wants debt. Men don't want it. And we don't. I know as men, bro, I come from a family where we're taught to figure it out. Bro, I went to college, no car. I had to come home one day, on Christmas break one year, save up $1,000 to get me a hoopty car just so I can make it back to college. My car was $1,100. It had no heat or AC. I drove back to college with no heat or AC. 10 degrees outside. I'm driving my car frozen. Bro, who wants to live like that, bro? I'm not doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing that.
Black people obsession with doing something that they know statistically, physically, mentally, it can be right there in their face. Know for a hardcore fact, does not work out with them or for them as a whole needs to be studied. The discourse around black men not going to college is so insulting. So insulting. Because have you been outside lately? Have you opened this app lately? The main thing that you will notice is that people with 3, 4 degrees as a whole, with their masters, PhDs, cannot find jobs. They are not being paid. Like, I'm sorry, what's not clicking? Wanting somebody to do something like waste 4 to 8 to 12 years on something that's not 100%, you're not 100% sure that it's gonna work out when you have to deal with the day-to-day struggles of a damn egg being $10 currently. is wild to me. Y'all gotta stop it. We as a black community, we gotta stop it. Not only that, the way that y'all associate education with everything in the world is beyond. We have countless examples of people that are illiterate, that are trillionaires. And honestly, at where we at in life, at where this world is at, common sense over education, connections over education, networking over education, but most importantly, logic and common sense over education. A lot of y'all are dumb as hell with paperwork to show for it. And y'all know exactly what I mean. Outside of a book and studying materials, you can't function. You don't have no common logic. You don't have no skill set. You don't know how to market yourself. You don't know how to walk into a room. I went to college. I'm not down in college at all. Great experience. Loved it. But for where we are at currently and where we're going, is college necessary? Think back to high school. Was A squared plus B squared, was that necessary? I'm not saying, hey, if you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, hey, engineer, I'm not saying don't go. But hey, we have to have an honest conversation about the value of the degree currently. And y'all keep pushing, oh, these kids ain't. Y'all not teaching these kids logic. Y'all not teaching them how to deal with their emotion. Problem solving is more important. They're gonna have AI. They're gonna have AI. There was so much technology and so many passed down quiz and tests when I was in college. So I can imagine now who's not doing the legwork. You know what I'm saying? I get where y'all coming from, but I don't think as a whole that it's the right approach to say, oh, black men not going to college, and act so dense as to why not. We don't have realistic conversations in the community.
What do you guys think about the men crashing out, and as well the points that so many people are bringing up regarding this conversation? You guys can hear the creators and the stitches that stitching to its video was talking about how, they had to go find money for lunch. They had to support their parents at home because they became the dad, because they keep putting things in the streets that put their father in jail. And it's now coming like, okay, it's now coming as if the women who are getting this degree are having different type of parents. It's almost like they're saying that the women who get this degree, the women who are in school, who are chasing this degree, have life easier for them, and which is an absolute lie, because it's almost like the same parents. So saying you have to go find money for lunch, there are so many women as well who had to take up responsibility, who have to take on the responsibility. Stop so many of them, because we live in a world where women are told you have to do this in order for you to have this, in order for you to be able to live this way, you have to do this way. I think it's more of the constant reminder for women that these are the things you want to do if you don't want to see yourself in certain situations. These are the parts of your life that you need to take serious if you don't want to see yourself in certain situations. So, and then the men are like, there was another creator, another man, who I'm going to be sharing his video with you guys in the second part. This man had said that the way they wake them up, you will see the way the parents, the mother is talking to the child like in a very rash way, like they are not actually love or nurtured to see, to be emotionally intelligent, to even want to be in school, to like want to, do anything that has to do with degree. They just like automatically just looking for a way how to become a gangster and live there. And when you grow to become that person, the gangster, the person on the street who is taking the next coke, who is taking the next, whatever drugs, you don't want to be in school anymore, because now you're seeing some money, then you think that the degree is no longer necessary. But the fact that the excuses that these creators are making is not like so heavy is not an enough excuse, is why people are reacting, or so many women are coming back to react to their video, because they are stating as if that the women who are getting that degree are from like rich homes. This is actually not the case. This person said the boys have to act tough for some reason. Studying is lame, it is not fast money. This is a disease and it will be the bane of the community. Another one said, I legit see white supremacist talking points coming from members of the community when it comes to that topic. Another person said, also, the lack of push for education for Black boys and young men outside sport is insane, but would that be a separate issue? Yes, I think there are so many parents who prefer to put their male kids in sport. In fact, from the moment they are very young, they put their male kids in sports. But whenever I see parents make jokes of something like this, is all about, oh, the money in football, the money in, being a basketballer, all those type of things. I think these are the reason why some push their male kids to be there. But I would like to hear what you guys think. But I think I have seen so many people act like, the best place for a man to flourish is literally if they are in sports. This other person said the other problem is society making men feel bad for asking for help. They tell women find a mentor, but tell men to figure it out. Balance the skills, please. This one said, college don't guarantee success, and that piece of paper don't guarantee a job also. All the men and women are outpacing. And this person said, college don't guarantee success, and that piece of paper don't guarantee a job also. All the trade men and women are outpacing the college graduates. Why are the living Black men not in school? This is coming from the comment section of the creator who had made a video saying because men are dying. So this person said, if men are dying, the living one are supposed to be in school. So it appears Black men want sympathy, and above all else, an issue is presented, and the immediate response is excuses and irrelevant contextualization, not solution. Let me hear what you guys think about this conversation, because I can tell that there's a couple men online right now who are freaking triggered by this conversation, coming at them saying that they are not in college. Let me hear what you think about this whole thing. There will be a part 2 either on this channel or on the second channel as well. So make sure you watch out. I'm going to be sharing the link either way. But let me hear what you think in the comment section. Let's have this conversation down below, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one.